no doubt that Muay Thai is one of the most dangerous striking styles in the world, but having spent a decent amount of time there training myself and having watched ONE FC champions teaching striking, I can point out a few massive mistakes that if you follow these people to a T, you're like, I'm gonna do everything they say. If you do everything you say, they're gonna teach you some mistakes, and those mistakes are gonna get you KO'd. I absolutely love Muay Thai, nothing against it, but you can give me any striking style in the world and I think I'll find a couple little holes, little things that I go, I don't love that. And if we take this striking style and this striking style and this striking style and we kind of amalgamate them together, we can make something that is far stronger. So I'm going to point out some weaknesses and some alternatives to these Muay Thai techniques. Before we get to that, I want to let everybody know that these XMartial gloves, which I have been training in for over 2 years, these are my sparring gloves. They're fantastic. And if you're not looking to break the bank, make sure you head over, use my promo code, which is down there to save 10% and you get yourself great gloves at not a ridiculous price. Also, over at Strike Ready, we're having the sale of the year. You can get my 5 courses for one low price and lifetime access. Don't need to say anything more than that. All right, let's talk about the first thing that the Muay Thai fighters and the coaches over in Thailand were trying to teach me. They're trying to get me to do. And it's not right. It's absolutely not, but they will teach this over and over. The pads, the Thai pads, which they're often holding, are at this little angle. Instead of more flat, they're at this little angle. And they wanted me to hit and follow through on a downwards trajectory. Sort of the mindset being that when you hit and you drop down, you increase the force. So instead of hitting the target and pulling straight out, it's kind of hit and drop. The problem with that is if you don't make great connection, if you don't hit the person clean and knock them down, or you even miss, you're left with your hand kind of doing this. And I don't like that. Yes, it might increase your power. Yes, there could be some benefit to it, but I don't like it. Now I'm over exaggerating and you don't have to end up doing this obviously, but even doing this small boom, drop like that, boom, even that is exposing you for a longer time than you need to. As opposed to doing that extra drop, I just boom, hit and get right back to my head. I prefer that. I think it's safer and I don't really think the damage that we can put on this person is going to substantially increase because of that drop. But I do know the counter ability of the other person and them hitting you, that increases dramatically because you've done that little drop. Don't love it. The next one that I'm going to talk about is this sort of jump into the kick. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying there's a time and a place. And I want to point out the obvious risk in doing that jump step in. If you have somebody in front of you who is great at checking and you go, I'm just going to jump in, I'm going to blast them. I'm going to blast that low kick. How do you control this big jump the same way that you can control here? You've committed so much weight forward. So if you have somebody who's good at checking and you do that leap forward, even when you're cutting that 45-degree angle, there's more chance your shin, if they check, is going to get battered up. You're going to hurt yourself. Now, the likelihood of you actually breaking your shin the way somebody like Anderson Silva did, that's very slim. I think you need pre-existing damage before you get to that point where the shin will break, but you can damage it. You can bruise it up really bad. And I am still a fan of the jump, but you want to make sure you have somebody completely 50-50 in their weight. So maybe if you came and you kind of went boom and they're guarded up, you can see their weight has shifted and then you kind of jump across, that's great. But a lot of times these guys are doing this from outside of jab range and they're here and they're just like, oh, boom. Man, if I don't check that, my defense is garbage. You jump in that far on me, man, I'm gonna either be gone or I'm gonna check that and your shin's gonna be wrecked. So just bear that in mind and you don't wanna get KO'd because you threw a kick too hard and you busted up your own shin and you can't continue. The next one, which I've seen recently, this was actually, I think it was Super Bon. It was Super Bon who was teaching this. Now bear in mind, exceptional fighters like Superbon can do things that the average person may not get away with. But he was showing on an Instagram video, he said, no, we don't do this. He said, footwork wise, we do this. So no skip, step in and kick. The problem that I have with the average person doing this is they don't understand the finite details. Now, if somebody's just holding the pads and I'm standing here and I just step forward, I've switched my stance and I just, boom, slam the kick and yeah, it feels awesome. But what are we doing when we step forward? We're closing the gap. We're closing the gap substantially. If I'm outside of jab range or way outside jab range, let's see, on the skip, I can go, okay, I'm just gonna get to there. I don't really have to commit too far forward. But once this foot steps, I'm coming decently far forward. That's not even me taking a big step. Just me going like this is still moving me in. Again, Superbon can do this. But what a beginner might not realize is as you step to here, if they throw a punch, you're walking straight into it. You go to step, boom. Whereas if you stay in position here, there's no hand switching. You don't have to worry about, oh, what does my guard do as I step through? You just keep your hands in position and you skip your feet. Far easier for a beginner and intermediate to be here and just going, okay, I'm safe as I execute. But then they see Superbon teaching a step through. They go to step through. The hands have to go parallel as you step through because you can't keep this hand in front. So the hands go parallel. Maybe they don't have them high enough, close enough, whatever, and they end up, boom, eating the shot. So while you absolutely can take this step through, you need to know the finer details of it. Otherwise, eventually you're gonna run into a punch. You're probably gonna be on one foot as you do it. They're gonna catch you right now, dunk. And you're gonna be on your back wondering, huh, why didn't this kick, which Superbon taught me, work? Now, executing knees. I'm gonna have to go and say, you know what? I don't 100% know if this is what I was seeing in Thailand, but I've seen many people who call themselves Muay Thai coaches teach when you execute a knee, you do this with your hands. What are they teaching that you do? They're teaching you take both your hands from up in this position and you pull down to your hip. Boom. Boom. And then over in Thailand, even when we walked across the room, and I do remember this because I was at Porpramuk, which was Buakaw's gym, and we would walk across the room, and I still do that. I still do that. There's nothing wrong with that, unless you don't understand why you're doing it. And then you just start doing that every time you throw a knee. Oh, oh. If you do that every time you throw a knee, and you don't have control of your opponent's head, you're in for a world of pain, a world of trouble. When I control their head, and I drag them forward to my hip, boom. The punches are not that relevant. I'm not worried about this guy smashing me in the head. But if I just have my hands up, I go to skip my knee off and I pull my hands down, whoo, bang, right in the face. Gonna be a big problem. So instead of pulling my hands to my hip, the alternative is pull the hands the same direction, still going to the left side when I throw the left knee, but I bring them up to head level. And you should be able to see off my right knee here, instead of ending up this position, I end up, boom, in this position. My forearm, my elbow, my tricep, it all acts as a guard across my face. The other hand can just stay in this zone, the same way that it would pull to my hip. It just pulls to the side of my head, boom, boom, as opposed to, oh, hello, punch me in the face, please. So again, there's a time to grab somebody to pull to the hip. You do that to pull them forward and break their balance. But if you don't have control of the head, oh my gosh, protect your face, please. So those are 4 things that you might think, oh, Muay Thai teaches them, they're so effective, I'm gonna do that all the time. And then you realize I'm getting tagged, but you don't understand why. Well, now you do. You understand how you can make little adjustments, how you can make these work for you, but you might just choose to eliminate them from your arsenal and just stick what I showed you as an alternative until your skill set develops. Then you can come back and add these in again. That's all, guys. I'll see you back here soon.